today with the gorgeous Monica de Vitry, who is one of our amazing Lunar Wisdom authors. So, Monica is an artist, teacher, Lunar coach, and founder of Flow Mamas. She's been helping people to connect with their creative essence for over 12 years now. She's a certified moonologist, just like me, a Reiki 2 practitioner, an RYT 500 yoga teacher, and holds a BSc in art education. She draws upon her trainings across multiple creative and healing modalities to create transformative experiences for her students and her coaching clients. So you'll mostly find Monica over on Instagram, but today she has come to join us over here streaming live. So welcome, Monica. Thank you so much for being here with us. Would you mind just giving everybody a little bit more of an insight into who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thanks. Such a fun thing to be here with you this morning. So yeah, I consider myself, and that is a term that I have recently really stepped into. In certain settings, I would introduce myself in a certain way, and in other settings, I would introduce myself and now I'm like, nope, I actually do all these things. So I Flow Mamas, and I focus on helping other multi-passionate women because the moon has been such an amazing tool for myself and with it, and that I've seen in other people's lives. Just that reminder that we can do what we want to do, but we don't have to do it in this way where we're burning ourselves out. It has been so incredible. That's been my journey with the moon, and that's what I really loved as well. Just what's possible when we allow ourselves to feel it all these different times and emotions and experiences, and be part of the flow. So depending on the day, you might find me painting or recording my podcast or surfing or working on my book or school. I work part-time in a Montessori school, and that's just a couple of the things. So, but yeah, I'm here, there, and everywhere. So.
Oh, you are preaching to the choir, my gorgeous girl, because I completely understand that multi-passionate life. And I think that's one of the things that actually I really loved about you and your feed, because for those of you who don't know, I kind of stalked Monica online because we're part of the same Moonology community, and I was following her on Instagram and absolutely loved her content. And I actually reached out to Monica and was like, oh my goodness, I think you would be an amazing fit for this book. And luckily for me, Monica said yes. So would you like to share with everybody a little bit more about what it was that actually made you say yes to this opportunity?
Sure. So that's so funny. And that's literally when you said you were like, oh, I've literally been stalking you. And I was like, okay. It was funny because so I started my business Flow Mamas. I made my LLC official, and in the beginning I thought be a business about yoga and art, and that was kind of like where it was two things. That's like I am just so passionate about practicing, and I was like okay, that makes sense. And my journey into working with me to kind of like pull out of this burnt out place and into this place where I was able to do all these different things, but in a way where I was like noticing when I like need. So it was like I don't feel like I chose, like it found me and was like, hey, like this is like to help you like allow yourself to expand into your potential in the world. I was really resistant to it, which is a really interesting piece. Like I was like, okay, like, and then like I had a coach who was like, it seems like your business is really like about like, yeah, you can do yoga, you can do art, you can also do all these other things, but it's like within this container of working with, like, you know, like you might not be wrong on that, but I'm still gonna like sit with it. And I kind of was leaning into that last fall, and I started posting like, you know, not directly moon related stuff, but like it was inspired by the moon place. And then I hit my first like big block of resistance of being like that I'm qualified to do this, and I just like gave it up, and I was like, how can I be when I don't really know what I'm talking about? Because I'd read Yasmin Boland's like moonology book, and that's kind of what and then like, of course, like 2 days later, inbox that she's like running a special on her certified moonologer course, and I was like, I didn't even know that was okay. All right, I'll just do that, and then I'll feel more confident. So I did. Oh my God, my binder from that course is like thick, and my astrology course that I took as well was like writing down like so many notes, and just kept having these moments of like ping, 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 like this is the path, this is exactly. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm absolutely doing this. And then in April, I launched my Moonlit membership, which I'll share a little bit more about this later, but I'm continuing with. And then again, this summer, I hit this that was like, you know, maybe it's not really about the moon. Maybe it's just about flow. It's really at the essence and the core of what it is that I'm teaching. And it's like, yes, I think it is. It's so much. And then right around that time when I was like, you reached out and you were like, hey, like, love your stuff. Do you want to be part of this book with the moon? And I was like, you know, fuck it. Why not? Sorry. Like,
love it.
I was just, my mind was blown because I was at this point ready to just like throw in the towel again and be like so resistant. Invitation to just step into it so much more fully. And it's been, when we chatted the first time, you were like, yeah, I think like writing this chapter is going to help you to solidify your journey with the moon and like why this is so important for you. And it opened up this space for me to reflect and to really say, like, do I love working with the moon? Because like if you say that to someone on the street, they'll be like, okay, the moon's cool, like we see it sometimes, but like it doesn't always connect. And that's what I felt like a lot. Like I was just like, oh, let me teach you how to work with the moon. And they're like, you lost. Starting to realize that like that's just not my people. Like, because for me, like it's powerful and so incredible. So anyway, going through the process of writing my chapter and getting to know the other authors and getting into this place where I'm like, no, this is what it's about, and are being illuminated in these different ways. And it was like the pieces of the puzzle were slowly becoming more and more visible as I just sat with it and allowed the process. And then it was like later this summer when I like the passionate piece was kind of like the missing link as well. And now I'm starting to feel like, oh, you know what? Like, I know exactly what I'm talking about. And I was doing some really power around this full moon that we just had yesterday. And just still recognizing my power away by like asking too many people for their opinions and their advice on things. Like, I know exactly, you know, the words that I came up with for that, like, that is what that idea that I had, like I'm just going to try it because that person, like, what do they know? So really in the end, it's just like coming back into our power so much. So
goodness, you just gave me full body chills there. And because it's so true. We start out, I was the same, where, you know, when you start, you're constantly seeking that validation from other people that you perceive to be the experts, right? And
Yeah.
we are asking everybody in our circle, and quite often people who actually aren't either our target audience or people who are in the industry. And so we're asking these people that have no idea about anything that we do. And we're asking them for permission on like how we're doing things. And of course they're coming out and they're like, do you really think this is a good idea or whatever? And we're like, oh, I don't know, like maybe it's not. And that process, as you said, of like coming back to yourself and realizing, no, I know what I'm talking about now. Like I feel comfortable and confident in myself. That is like a pivotal shift. It is huge when we reach that point and we're like, actually, no, I know exactly what I'm going to say. Those words that I chose, they are perfect. Like this is my voice. This is who I am. This is how I want to word it. This is how I want to frame it. And it is so incredibly freeing.
Yeah. That's it, right? Because it's like, I always like to run it is just like swarming with billions of people. And it's like, everyone's got their own idea and situations. And when we look outside of ourselves for the answers on something, it's like, I mean, a person can give us, I love the, the feedback that I get from, people. It's always valid because even if I don't take it, it's like that contrast is so helpful just to remember that like we do have the answers, and Moon so beautifully because it's just this reminder that like we can all work with deflecting back to us what's inside of us. It's never going to tell us already there, like anything that we, it's just like shining the light on the different pieces. So
I love that. That is exactly how I feel about working with the moon. And it really lights me up to see you were talking about like being with the other ladies and things like that and coming in and talking. And I really love how everybody has come together and provided each other support and guidance along the way when everyone's had their little imposter syndrome moments, like, who am I to be doing this? What if mine isn't good enough? I loved that you even did like an Instagram live the other week when you submitted your chapter and you were like, I was feeling this imposter syndrome. And you did like a whole live about how you had submitted your chapter and how you were feeling and just kind of worked through it while you were on the live. And I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. Like here she is showing up in her vulnerability and shining that light for other people as well. So not just shining it for yourself and like illuminating those things for you while you were working through them, but really allowing other people to see that vulnerability and see that that we don't, even if we are the experts, so to speak, it doesn't mean that we don't still feel the same things that everybody else is feeling.
I forgot that I even did that. But yeah, I feel like showing up in that way is so important because the more we know, the less we know in a huge way. It's like the more I dive into, the more I'm like, whoa, like there's like endless vast things that and then also what I keep finding is that like in a way, like this for so long, but like you can learn about anything through doing anything else. And like shifting that lens and shifting that perspective can always give you new insights. It's like we'll never know it all, and then on the other hand, it's like we already know it all. Learning these different things, and it's like just like different ways of organizing. Different doesn't matter if you're studying like math or astrology or anything. There's gotta be these fundamental ways that the things just kind of like it's just that feeling. So
yeah, I love that. It's so true that when we start to unwrap it, it's like layers of an onion, right? And there are new layers constantly. And I loved how you put it, the more we know, the less we know. because we do. Like, the more that we become experts, the more we realize that there is so much more to learn, that it is infinite, and that we can never possibly know anything, or at least not in this lifetime anyway. And that, but it's that process of allowing ourselves to dive down those rabbit holes that we feel called to dive down and unwrap it in different ways. And that's one of the other things, is that even though we have several moonologists here in the book and in the community, every single one of you works with the moon differently. And so I love that too, because even though there is a common thread and a common background, I mean, working with the moon obviously is the first common thread between all of the authors. But then for those who are certified moonologists, every single person uses that knowledge and that foundation differently, and you've all dived down completely different rabbit holes, right? And that is one of the beautiful things about everybody coming together, is that we get to share this collective wisdom and compare notes and find those, you were saying, like, find those connections between the different things where we're like, oh yes, well, like, that goes with that, and like that, oh, that makes total sense about this other thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and because that is seriously, like, I think the best part of being in a collaboration like this, you recognize that even though no one person can, like, have all the answers or do everything or like figure it out, that's not at all what it's about. It's like, it about like just following your heart and doing what feels right, recognizing that the power of, like, when we show up from that place, even this small collective, like, it's just so incredible. Like, I feel so much more confident than I did, even saying, like, I'm a woman who works with the moon. Like, this is how I do it. And to illuminate my path forward as well, of wanting to realize all these women that I'm working with, that's like, I don't want to teach them, like, this is how you should do your moon ritual. I'm like, I want to show you the concepts, I want to show, and then I want you to create, like, what it is for you. And I love this together with this, because that's what you're calling people forward to do, is just to read this. Okay, you know, here's 12 different approaches, and then in that 12's like, and I already have some ideas of my own, you know, and like to step into that new way, and just to be able to say, like, you know, it doesn't have to be a certain way, like, whatever it is that comes up for me needs to be.
Yes, and that is exactly the vision that I had for this book, was to bring in multiple perspectives and give people that jumping off point to resonate with someone's story and say, ooh, I love this idea, or I love several of these ideas from several of these women, and oh, there is no one path to doing this. I can just pick and choose the pieces that resonate for me and create my own path and my own journey. And I don't need anybody's permission to do that. I can just do the things that feel good for me and follow that intuition. And it is so wonderful to have had so many of you see that vision with me, and, you know, take that leap of faith and show up exactly as you are, with all of your, you know, beautiful modalities and all of your own imposter syndromes and fears. Like, all of that is beautiful. Like, every single part of that, every single person who has, you know, done the things, because I know some of the girls in the chat were like, oh, as I was writing my chapter, I realized that the things I was struggling with as I was writing the pieces corresponded with the moon phases. You know, like, when I was having my imposter syndrome, it was during the third quarter moon, or when I was like on fire and writing heaps, it was during that waxing moon phase. And it has been just amazing to watch.
Yeah, it really is, like, and the more I work with it, like, the cooler it is, because all these different parts of my life. So yeah, it's endless thing, and keep getting into those new layers. So powerful.
Yeah. So can you give everybody just a little bit of a sneak peek? You don't have to tell them everything, but maybe just whet their appetite a little about the story that you are planning to share in Lunar Wisdom?
Sure. Yeah. So for me, it's really a story about being someone who used to just have this insanely packed time, to the point where I got myself to a point where I was real. And that just really up, because I was so at that point where I just like wasn't even trusting that this absolute burnout was like a real thing. Because I was like, no, but like I should be able to. So it's really about my journey of working with the moon to come back and to absolutely, on myself through all of the parts of myself where like I still, and it's amazing because like I'm doing more than ever, but I'm like clear flow with it than I ever was.
Oh, I love that. So good. And I love that you keep using the words ease and flow, because they're two of my favorite words to use when working with the moon as well. And I think they're really common because it is like working with the moon does allow us to step into that ease and flow, because it gives us that permission to step out of hustle culture.
Absolutely. Well, the word flow is literally what brought me to working with the moon. Like I flow mama, and then I started leaning into that word flow, and that was really what. So it's all about.
It is all about the flow. That's exactly right. So if people wanted to find out more about you and your programs, because you did mention a little bit earlier about your Moonlit membership, how can they find out more about what it's like to work with you, or where to find you if they want to follow you? Or would you like to share a little bit about, what you do and how you help people?
Yes, thank you. So the Moonlit membership, I've decided to close that for the purpose of my own flow, because I really need to have an ongoing container. I'm someone who really craves like that quiet and those months where I can just kind of like be offline and in my book world. So I'm not running a membership anymore. But different ways you can connect with me. So through Instagram is the best way. If you want to just reach out and send me a DM on there. I love to get into the DMs and here. And I'm running a free 5-day challenge called from October 24th to the 28th. It falls right in, so that's really exciting. And with the solar eclipse in Scorpio, really powerful week. It's going to be on Facebook, and by going to my website by the end of today, I think I'm going to have that landing to sign up for that. But right now, if you're like, oh, I want to get into that, just send me a DM and I'll know when that is live. So that's going to be a free Facebook group. Kinds of moon work together for 5 days in a row. And then I'm going to be leading Moon Work for Multi-Passionates course. So teaching women who are multi-passionate with the moon and find that flow with all the things that they are doing, so that they can holiday season and feel like a total queen and not worry extra things that they haven't done yet, and just know that it's all happening in perfect, really equipped with their knowledge of the moon, so that when New Year's coming there, one-time New Year's intention, these women will be so equipped with the new to work cyclically with their intentions and with moon cycles over time in a really sustainable. Those are the main ways. And I also do take one-on-one coaching clients. I have some info on that on my and then I have a podcast called Lunar Inspired. So those are the ways.
Yes. Oh, I love this idea of the moon work for multi-passionates, because as a multi-passionate, multi-potentialite myself, and I work with a lot of multi-passionates as well, one of the things is very much about trying to juggle all the things, because we want to do literally all of the things. Like, you name it, we want to do it. And of course, traditional modern, masculine business paradigms don't really cater to multi-passionates very well, because it's very linear and it's very do this thing and do it in this order. And that's not actually how multi-passionates work. It's not how we think. And I think that's also one of the reasons why, for me, working with the moon has been so pivotal, because it did allow me to shift my energy and change my focus and do those things. So the fact that you've put together a whole program for multi-passionates about how to work with the moon, I think is absolutely brilliant. And I know that Stephanie, one of our other authors, is like, oh my goodness, the struggle is real. And it is like trying to do all of the things is just, it's hard at the best of times, but having somebody to guide you through and show you that it's okay to do all of the things simultaneously, that you don't have to choose, and that you can just follow that energetic flow. I love that so much for you.
Thank you. I'm so excited. It's out of me, and I cannot wait to guide these women. So I'm just so looking.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Are there any final messages or things that you would like to share with our audience today before we wrap up? Any words of wisdom?
This waning cycle, really honor all the waning cycles, and it's the actual waning cycle or your own personal feeling of that waning cycle anytime down, and just like cancel things or take things off your calendar. I just blocked. I was like, not available for a few days in my calendar. Like, do those days. But I think just like the reminder that it's totally okay to all the spaciousness you need to allow yourself to just self, so that when we get back into that next waxing cycle, energy that you need to move forward with all the things that you desire to do.
Oh, that is so perfect. I love that. Yes. Giving ourselves permission to slow down and carve that time out and declutter, right? Say, you know what? I'm not going to do this. Not available. Don't want to do this anymore. It's okay. Like, listen to that inner voice and that intuition, and that is what's going to help you step into ease and flow. So love that advice. So good. Well, thank you so much for showing up here today, Monica. I am really excited to share your chapter with the world. For those of you who are watching, Lunar Wisdom is actually releasing in 2 weeks, which is so exciting, on the new moon eclipse in Scorpio. So if you would like to help support us for our launch, you can grab a digital copy on Kindle for 99 cents on launch day. It doesn't matter if you have a physical Kindle or not. There is an online web reader, so you can just, 99 cents, grab a copy, give it a read, listen to, or, read these amazing stories that all of these authors have shared, including Monica, and see what inspires you, so that on that new moon in Scorpio, you can actually go and start implementing straight away. Take something that you have read and go and set those intentions, because the new moon eclipse in Scorpio is going to be a little bit of a firecracker kind of new moon. So if you want to set some really serious intentions it is definitely the new moon that you won't want to miss. So come and support Monica, come and support the Lunar Wisdom Girls. If you follow Monica on Instagram or on any of her channels, I know for sure that she is currently collating her launch list, and she has a very special event planned for our launch day. Did you want to just quickly share a little bit about that for everybody?
Yeah. So anyone who joins will be invited to a super special private moon ceremony. So I'm going to be leading the practice that I share in the spell book and leading you through how to do the mudras. There's some hand positions from there and there, and just giving you some little nuggets of how you can apply this work moving forward. Practice is all about alignment and surrender. So yeah, that is how to go to my Instagram or to my website, flowmamas.com/launch. It is. Or if you go to my Instagram, go to the start here, because it's linked in the surefire way to get there. And if you sign up there, you'll be excited.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So make sure that you are following Monica on Instagram and get in touch with her, join her launch list, and make sure that you have an opportunity to attend her very special launch event to see how she actually teaches you to implement the practices that she is sharing in the spellbook section of Lunar Wisdom. So I think that is an amazing offer, and we would love to have you support us. So if you'd like to find out more, do feel free, slide into it, either Monica's DMs, because you know she loves it, or you can slide into my DMs and I will forward the information on. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Monica, and the countdown is on.
Woo! I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Tracy. So much love, and can't wait to talk to you more. Take care.